Hey everyone, welcome back to Homegrown Passion. So I'm out in the greenhouse just for a couple minutes here because I got a bunch of seeding to do. So I'm going to take you through how I get ready for the farm market. Well, I can't believe it's seeding time already for the Hudson Farmers Market. I always have a good time there. Great community, great customers, couldn't say anything better about them. So this is going to be my 7th year there at the market. So I do have some notes over the years of my planting schedule of when to plant stuff and how long things take in the channels. Because you know, as the days get longer, it takes shorter time to get things to grow. You know, in the wintertime, it could take 8-9 weeks for a head of lettuce. In the summertime, it could take up to 5-6 weeks. So I worked out a schedule. I use my iPad here. And I have a schedule here as I have a first group of seeding I do is for my longer lettuces like the Rex and the Green Forest, the different romaines and Skyphos, which is a red bib lettuce that's very popular. I have Green Star and I also do the M-Dive. And then my next schedule, I'll be seeding next week, is a little bit shorter term, which is like my watercresses and the mini Swiss chard and the bok choy and that. And then for the ones that only take 5 weeks, that's the arugula and my 5-star, which is a spring mix type lettuce. So I have to do it all in sections because I don't want to plant everything at once because I'll have stuff ready way before the market and I'll end up throwing it away. And so I've tried to time it out so everything is ready for each week of the market. So like I said, I have my iPad here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have it worked out, you know, what market. And here I have my historical numbers from last few years of how much I planted for each market and was able to sell, because you don't want to plant too much and take too much stuff there, and because you know after sitting out for 3-4 hours, you know, it's hard to sell that again because lettuce does get wimpy. So I want to make sure I can sell everything I take there. So that's where I start my seeding schedule. The other thing that I've done over the years, which has been a really big help, is I take notes. So when I plant something, I put the date down on when I seeded it, when I planted it, and then when I harvested. And then I tried to put in there notes of, you know, what it looked like, if it was worth it. Like, for example, here, what do I have up here? Here, Nancy, bib lettuce. I seeded it on 7/16 of 2020, harvested at 9/4, which was 7 weeks and 1 day, and it was perfect for the market. Like Rex, you know, that's a major bib lettuce that you plant hydroponically. You know, I have notes all the way back from 2019 and 2020, and it just tells me, like here, I seeded it on 5/25/2020. I planted it on 6/15, which was 21 days. I harvested at 7 weeks, 4 days, and it was a really good size, even though it was 90 degrees out during the summertime, right before I harvested. So it just gives you an idea of historical, how to go through and get things planted up. You know, you always want to do everything economically and not waste any seeds or have things in the channels too long or too short. You want to have a nice sized product, because my philosophy is I plant what I like to eat and I sell what I like to buy. So I'm going to go ahead and get some trays ready to seed here, and I'll take you through some of my seeding here. So when you seed, you need a bottom tray. I like to use these domes that you usually use when you start seeds for a humidity dome and that, for flowers and that, because they're a little bit thicker than the black ones that came with the trays, because they end up getting holes here and start leaking everywhere. So I spend a little bit more for these, but these will last for years. The other ones maybe last 6 months for me. So this is a little thing I do. Then I have my trays here, all cleaned and sanitized and ready to go. So then I'm going to go get my Oasis cubes, put in these, take them out to the greenhouse, get them soaked down thoroughly with the nutrient water. And I know I've shown that to you guys in the past. But yeah, I might want to make sure everything's thoroughly soaked, and then I'm going to start my seeding. Okay, I got my Oasis pad here all ready to go. It's really soaked down. I can tell because it's really heavy. You want to make sure it's heavy, because if it's not, you know, you don't have enough water in there. So I'm going to start seeding here. I got my spreadsheet here ready to go. So the first one I'm going to start with is Muir, which is a summer crisp lettuce. It's a new one here that I have. So I like to write the name of the cultivar on top of the lid. So then when I'm going through my box here, I don't have to pick up each one and try to figure out what it is, because when you're in a hurry and you're seeding, it's just so much faster. So I just got this not too long ago because I ran out of seeds from last year. So I'm going to go ahead and get this open. So I want to do 60 of these because of the market I do, and it's like 200-300 heads that I do. So I always like to have a big variety of stuff, and I found that if I have 60 of the Muir, it will sell out, maybe have 1 or 2 heads left, but that's about it. So that's what's nice about having a history of the market I've been at, is I know how much I should plant, and also the first market of the year is always the biggest. Everybody's happy to get outside, just like the rest of us, you know, happy that the summer's starting and getting some good fresh vegetables. So what I like to do is I like to put a division or break up the cube here between each of the different types of lettuces. So then when you're going to plant them and pulling the oasis cubes apart, it keeps from getting different types of lettuce mixed up together, because I like to keep them all in different sections. I like all my Rex, you know, the butter in one section, the Muir in another section, my romaine into different sections. So it's just a little bit easier, I found out, just to put a little break in between each one of the whatever you want to call them, the lines here, and I can keep them separated. Now I just hand seed these because I don't do a lot of them, and it's just a little bit easier. I mean, if you're a big commercial, really big commercial place, and you do a whole pad, it's probably better to have a seeder, but since I just do a little bit, it's a little easier just to do this. So I just go through and drop one seed in each one of these holes. Like I said, even though it's the multi-dimple, it works well for me for my single seeds. And these being pelleted, it's just so much easier to drop them in. So I get the whole section done. It's kind of satisfying, you know, seeding something and watching it grow. Okay, so I got that section done. Put my seeds away, put the lid on so I don't spill them. And then I'll take one of my tags and I'll put today's date, which is April 7th. This is Muir. And then I also put on the tag what market it's for, so I can make sure everything's growing correctly and it's supposed to be on time. You know, as you're walking through the greenhouse, which I try to do on a daily basis and look at everything, I could tell if this is going to be ready for my first market or not, or if I, you know, need to plant something in shorter term, that I make sure I have enough lettuce. So this is for my 6-4 market. So this is, I'm doing this at 9 weeks just to give me a little bit of leeway. 8.5 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. And so I'll put my tag here, and then this tag will stay with this section of lettuce. So when I put it out in the channels, I actually take this tag and take one of my little clippy things and put it on the emitter hose, so I know when this was planted and what market it's for. And a lot of times too, when I go to seed it or plant it in the channels, I'll go ahead and write that date down on too. Try to get as much information as I can. You know, I'm not totally scientific, but you know, you want to have your notes in history so you know what you're doing. Okay, so now I'm going to do some red Salanova oak leaf, and the Salanova is the way the lettuce grows. It's like a head of lettuce, but it's a leaf lettuce. It's kind of cool. It's I get it from Johnny Seeds, like I said, get most of my seeds from there. But it's a really pretty red lettuce, and so many people like to add the red lettuce into their greens, so I try to grow a nice variety of that. So let's get this started. I'm also going to do 60 of those. And I always make sure I put my tag in right after I seed it, because many times I put in, it's like, what did I do? So I don't get myself mixed up and have too much of one variety. And it's so nice that after the market's gone for a couple weeks, all of my customers, they know what cultivars I grow, and they order it by name because they know which ones they like. So this year at my market, there's a space that's open that's under a tree, because we have to set up our tents, our 10 by 10 tents. And thankfully the farm market manager let me have that spot, so I will definitely be in the shade the whole time. You know, with leafy greens, you definitely don't want them sitting out in the sun. And it helps me to stay cooler, so I really appreciate that. So I've got my 2 trays planted with my lettuces for my first market here. I always plant extra because I like to sell my lettuces at least at 8 ounces. So if I get some that are a little too little, you know, like are 4 ounces, I can put 2 of them together and it'll make an 8-ounce bag of lettuce, because I just can't see selling anything under 8 ounces. Because if you're going to make a salad, you're going to want to make a salad. So that's why I have all these here. So I have 2 trays, so there's 276 cells in each tray, so I got 552 plants here for just the early lettuces. I do have some later lettuces that I'm going to be planting next week, and I'll go over that with you next video to show you, like I said, my progression of what other things I'm going to be planting next week. Because there's a couple like the green oak leaf that doesn't take as long as these other lettuces do, so I'm not going to plant those till next week. So this is what I do, and this is how I get ready for my market, and it's an exciting thing to get done. Okay, so here is a close-up of my spreadsheet. The Hudson seeding for 2022, and you can see I have the market dates all along the top up here, and then I have my seeding date right there. And so this is what I just seeded today. Next week I'll be seeding this, more lettuces to keep us going, and then I'll also do my shorter term, and then in 3 weeks I'll be doing the lettuce, the shorter term, and then the real short term, the arugula and 5-star. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how you have to plan out your schedule for the summer if you want to make sure you have product for each market, because customers come to know what you have, and you know, they kind of expect it, and you want to be able to deliver to keep them coming back. So try to keep myself organized here the best I can and keep on track. So now then, I'm going to take these guys, set them out into the control tunnel, put black lids on them, and get them ready to germinate. So I'm going to pick up all my seeds here, put them back in my box, and then put them back in the refrigerator. Some of these seeds are a couple years old and they still germinate for me, so it's really worthwhile keeping them in the refrigerator. So here's everybody in the control tunnel. I'm going to go ahead and put the black top on them to keep the humidity in there for them. And I'll keep checking them every day to make sure they're wet enough and to make sure when they start germinating, because if you don't take off the top in time, they get leggy. So keep an eye on them. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a little bit. I'm trying to tell you guys some of my tips and tricks that I do when I get ready for things. So hopefully it helps. So leave me any questions, comments, or suggestions down below. And we'll see you guys next video.